So let's say you've had a very long day and you're back home. What is the first thing you want to do? You probably want to relax. And to relax, you decide, I'm going to watch some shows on Netflix and just wind down. So what you have to do is now take the remote and now you have to switch it on, and now there's a lot of processes that are involved. What does this tell you? Well, even if it's as simple as just turning on Netflix, there are processes, there are steps which you have to take to finally get to what you want to do. But we know that. So what is very peculiar about this? Do you think there is an alternative that you could find that makes processes simpler, that makes it easier, that makes it better for you to understand the problem at a much smaller level? Now that is what this video is going to be about. You're going to understand how to break a problem down. Let's say that we have a problem this big. You might see that the problem itself can be broken down into smaller chunks, and when you handle the smaller chunks, those chunks are way easier to handle than just handling the problem outright. So you never thought about it this way, but think about Netflix in a totally different way now. This is going to be the fundamental that you're going to use for every single problem you have. Yes, Netflix has solved all the problems you have with this one statement. That is, you're going to use Netflix from now on, and you're going to break it down into what are the processes that are involved to make sure that you can accomplish this task. What do I mean by this? First of all, you'd have to walk to the couch. And secondly, you'd have to now take the remote, switch on the TV. Now you have to turn on the PlayStation. Now once your PlayStation's open, now you have to navigate all the way to Netflix. You have to click that, and then you have to decide what show to watch. Do you see how many steps this actually takes? People might think that when you just say watch Netflix, just means blah 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 blah, and oh, there you go, show's active. But it's not that simple, is it? When you think about it, there are actually many steps that you have to account for to get to that point. So what is the idea? What do I want you guys to do from now on? So when you broke down the steps that you needed to open Netflix, you found that one of the biggest problems I have is that the TV remote is always there and I have to switch it on. I know I have to switch it on, but it's always there. So what's the solution then? Simply just keep the remote next to you. So instead of keeping it across the room, keep it exactly where you sit to relax, so that you wouldn't have to walk all the way and take the remote to keep it by your side. And there you go, just simply like that. Now you have a more efficient process or efficient way of looking at how to watch Netflix. But you probably understood that this isn't about Netflix. In fact, it's about a bigger problem. It's about why you feel so overwhelmed. It's about why do you think that I'm not able to do a certain thing, or oh, I see this problem looks this big. But is it really that big? I ask you right now, think about a problem you've been having at the office. Think about a person that you were unwilling to work with, or maybe a task that was given to you that seemed so difficult, that seemed like, I don't even know how to tackle that. I don't even know how to start tackling that. So let's think about it. What do I do when I feel that there's a problem I cannot tackle at all? So I take it very fundamental, first of all. If there's a problem I don't understand, I don't just say, okay, there's no point in it. Why bother discussing it at all? Because I know that regardless of how complex the problem seems, there are very basic fundamental things I know. And guess how fundamental I take this? I will think, do I know my ABCs? Yeah, I know it sounds very ridiculous, but I will take it that simple so that I know, okay, I know this problem is not too difficult. Now, do I know how to construct a word? Yeah. So can you read this one word? So now I'll read out each and every word in that sentence. And consider the fact that I still haven't taken the entire problem yet. I'm still taking it word by word. Now I'll think, do I know the meaning of the first word? Yeah, probably do. Now the second word, third word. And that way I get down to a sentence. Now I'll say, so you know the meaning of all these words in this sentence. So now what does this sentence mean together? Now that I know the meaning of each and every word. And now I say, okay, that's the meaning of this sentence. When you try to break down the problem to very fundamental levels, which you definitely know you know, but still, sometimes it's just necessary to do it because it's just your brain playing tricks on you, saying that you don't know the problem. Or rather, it's not even tricks. Sometimes it's just your brain being lazy, and to engage your brain in the activity, you need to just tell it. Let's get real. That's not how it is. You know exactly what the problem is. You just do not want to spend time on thinking about what the problem at hand is. So if you want big gains, what you want to do is definitely account for how can you break these problems into smaller chunks, into smaller steps that can finally get you to a proper blueprint on how to handle the problem initially. So if you guys are enjoying the video so far, then I would ask you guys to maybe drop a like and subscribe, because that really does help the channel more than you believe, especially if you want the message to go out to people just like you who are looking for a message just like you. And I would appreciate any engagement that you guys can put down in the comments, because again, that helps the channel grow. And let's get back to the video right now. And guess what? When you simplify tasks, it's not just with Netflix or with your own personal work, but rather, you know what? Setting a habit is the exact same thing. When you talk about things like brushing your teeth or taking a shower, are those things you really contemplate too often? Maybe occasionally you do. Most of the times, 99% of the time, you'll make sure these tasks are done, because it's a habit after all. And how you set habits is based on how simple you can make a problem. So if the routine that you've set seems too difficult, then you're probably not going to do it in the first place. So any task that you want to do, you want to simplify to a point where it makes it so easy for you to do, so that you will not feel that there's a discomfort in doing whatever you want to do. So let's take the example of brushing your teeth then. If you had to go, let's say, to another house or to a common area to brush your teeth, which is maybe a bit further away from your house, are you likely to do it? Probably not. But now that it is at your home, maybe it's right next to your bedroom, all you need to do is just take a few steps. Now let's say you had to get toothpaste every single day from somebody else. Would you be likely to do it? Maybe not, because that's a lot of effort. But now you have your toothpaste right next to you, right? And so you don't have to spend too much time thinking about, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? Because all the items are right in front of you. So all you need to do is just start. It's the same thing how people forget about the important things they want to do. Let's say that they had a project that they needed to work on. If you have a reminder on your phone, or if you have a friend who will remind you every single day, who will message you, who will call you, and even when you meet, he reminds you about the project that you have, you're not going to forget that, are you? But let's say that you don't have a reminder on, and there's no tab on your laptop that indicates that you have to do this thing. Isn't it much more likely that you'll forget that thing ever existed in the first place? And maybe a month later, you'll realize, oh, I had that thing to do 3 weeks back. When they are in your proximity, just like a video I talked about before, which is linked somewhere up here, you can see how proximity is so important when you're trying to implement a habit. Because every habit works with 3 concepts. First is a cue, second is a routine, and third is a reward. You want to ensure that these 3 things are always in order. Because a cue is what makes you do that thing. A routine is what you practice to make sure that that habit sticks. And the final thing is the reward. And this reward is what makes you keep coming back to do this again and again. So how does this work? Let me break it down into the same example as brushing your teeth. So your cue would be that you have damaged teeth, or you know that there's a threat of your teeth being damaged. So your routine would be waking up and around the same times, which is in the morning, you brush your teeth and ensure that you do it properly. So what is the reward that comes with it? Number 1, you get to eat food without any problems. And number 2, you don't have to suffer unnecessary pain. So even if you're facing some problems, let's say with studying, it's the same thing. There are always things that you know. There are fundamentals within any problem that you don't understand. There are fundamentals that you already know. All you have to do is just start picking it out. Now, how do you pick it out? That is based on 2 things. Number 1 is your patience level. Number 2 is how well can you break down this problem into small chunks, and what are the chunks that you break it down into? Because yes, sure, you can break it down into different kinds of chunks, but it has to be the kind of chunks where you can tackle the problem. And that way, the habit loop is just broken down into 3 simple steps. It's just first breaking it down into smaller tasks. So this means you have the main problem, now you find smaller chunks that you can break it down into. The second thing that you do is optimize each step to make it easier, to make it such that you're more likely to come back to the problem, so that you are not deterred from tackling the problem. And the issue with most people is that they find a solution for the problem. But the thing is, when you find the solution, it has to suit the problem that you're tackling, and it has to suit the way that you manage things. Because if that solution is inconvenient for you, or if your brain gets a hint that this solution might be uncomfortable for me, guess what? You guys are not tackling that problem. In fact, that problem is going to persist with you all the way until you change your mindset. And the third thing is practice makes perfect. Repeat this same process until you get it right. Because sometimes you handle the chunks right, sometimes you know what to do. But first time failure is always possible. Second time failure is always possible. But how many times can you keep on failing? If you have the right routine, if you have the right mindset, how long can you keep failing? Think about that the next time that you think, I can just let off. I don't need to worry about the problem at hand. Because sometimes it's not that complex. All you have to do is just keep trying at it till you get it. It's really that easy. All you have to do is just keep trying. So now that you know how to break down and optimize your routines, let's take it one step further. Let's see if you as a college student need to be more productive or efficient. And if you are interested in that, then you can check out the video linked on the right. So smash subscribe, slap a like on, and always remember, never stop dreaming. See you all.